So Kim, what's on your radar?
Well, America is on a gun buying spree. Since the beginning of the pandemic in early 2020, firearm sales have skyrocketed. The new surge of demand has left ammunition shelves bare and gun shop owners in shock. The FBI's background check system documented an alarming increase in inquiries. In 2019, there were 28 million background checks, only a slight uptick from the year before, when in 2018, the system conducted 26 million checks. But in 2020, when toilet paper wasn't the only thing people were panic buying, the system conducted an astonishing 39.7 million background checks. And this year is looking to see another increase. In the single month of March, the FBI reported almost 4.7 million background inquiries, the most of any month since the agency started keeping track more than 20 years ago. Now, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, summer is typically a part of the year when firearm sales slow. But July's figures defy that trend. Americans are still buying guns, and they're buying them in numbers higher than previous years and at a pace that would have been unpredictable 2 or 3 years ago. Now, the spike in gun purchases has driven shortages of ammo across the country. Experts are calling it the Great Ammunition Famine. The ammo shortage has led to consequences that could impact the safety of our communities. Instructors are canceling gun safety and other firearms classes due to being unable to secure ammunition. People who desperately need to learn proper aim and how to safely discharge their newly purchased weapons are left without the option of formal training. The run on ammo is impacting law enforcement as well. Detective Sergeant Nick Troxel of the Tillamook, Oregon Police Department says he ordered 7,000 rounds of 9mm ammo for shooting range practice in August of 2020, but the shipment didn't arrive until April of 2021, 8 months later. So who are these Americans stockpiling guns and ammo, and why? Well, you might think you know the answer, but the truth might stun you. Researchers say that in 2020, half of all gun buyers were women, 1/5 were Hispanic, and 1/5 were Black. 40% of all sales were to first-time buyers. What are they buying? Handguns. In 2020, handgun sales increased 65.5%, mostly 8 and 9mm guns. Shop owners say when a person buys a weapon, they usually buy a box or two of ammunition to go along with it. With the stark increase in gun sales, ammo sales have gone bonkers. So why are so many women of color, and first-time buyers rushing out to buy guns and ammo? In Montana's largest newspaper, the Billings Gazette, an article mentioned that the internet is smoldering with rumors that certain folks in the U.S. are arming for the potential of a civil war. A civil war? Is Grandma really suiting up and stockpiling weapons because she's gearing up for battle? Maybe. She might believe her rights are at risk. If she watches CNN, she might believe white supremacists or anti-vaxxers are nearing a hostile takeover of the country. If she watches Fox, she might think our tyrannical government or China is swiftly infringing on her rights. Social media users have a different theory. The empty ammunition shelves have caused wild speculations that the U.S. government is fabricating the ammo shortage to prevent gun owners from buying ammunition. Did Grandma really even buy a gun? Maybe Grandma's gun is a figment of our imagination, and it's actually the government hoarding ammo to prevent a civil war instead, or start one. ABC News has a more measured reason for why there's a sudden run on guns, claiming the lockdown orders and cutbacks on police responses sowed safety fears, creating an overwhelming demand for both guns and ammo. This sounds more likely. But maybe all three are somewhat true. Maybe people are afraid of civil unrest. Maybe police departments and government agencies are stockpiling what ammo they can get their hands on before the public. And maybe people are afraid for their safety after the summer of 2020 riots and the storming of the Capitol. Following a year of election anxiety and skepticism, the burning, looting, and violence that spiked throughout major cities, to the fears of tyrannical government seizing the rights of its citizens, experts agree that these are the factors that have led to soaring gun sales amongst first-time buyers. And this shouldn't surprise us. The government has largely left us to fend for ourselves, with small businesses ordered to shut down, rent debts and back mortgages piling up, and police departments being stripped down. People don't have any semblance of normalcy or security at the moment. We are saddled with student debt, increasing medical bills, crime rates are soaring, and we're under the constant threat of censorship and continued endless mandates. The fact that record Americans in never-before-seen numbers are having to turn to guns for safety should be a wake-up call to our government. They are failing. They have failed. They have put special interests and grandiose partisan theater before the well-being, security, and safety of the American people. They have gaslit each of their respective bases into believing that we, the people, are each other's enemy, that we are causing each other strife. We are not. We have all been duped. The big money interests are running off with all of our tax dollars while we point the finger at each other over a virus spreading or wanting social programs. And now we all have guns. So, Alyssa, I want to ask you, why do you think, I know you're hanging out with a lot of GOP circles and conservatives, what do you think the reason is, from what you're hearing, is why people are stockpiling weapons and ammo?
Well, listen, it's a mixture, and I think that you pointed to some of the key factors. Fundamentally, when there's a distrust in institutions, whether it's our government, our elected officials, the election process, that makes people want to take matters into their own hands and protect themselves. I do think we can't discount as well the riots from last summer and seeing so many stores looted, businesses destroyed, and the police force doing virtually nothing, or being able, frankly, to do virtually nothing to secure those communities. And then on top of it, I do think that there's an element where the Democrats' defund the police rhetoric kind of feeds into this notion that people need to be protecting themselves. But listen, this is a very uncertain time for tens of millions of Americans. We've got a once-in-a-100-year pandemic. We've got joblessness. We've got rising crime in American cities. It's no surprise to me at all that folks are turning toward wanting to arm themselves. But Ryan, what's your viewpoint?
I mean, one element of it that is a bit uncomfortable for some progressives to talk about is that people have had a lot more money in their bank accounts. Like if you look at savings rates across the board, on average, people have more to spend, and that's a result of the checks that Trump sent out, the increased unemployment benefits, the super dole as they called it, and then the checks that the Biden administration sent out. And when people have more money, they're going to spend that money on purchases that they've wanted to make in the past, but necessarily haven't had the capital for. And so I think, and there's been some research that has suggested this, that those checks actually did contribute to some of the uptick in gun sales that we're seeing. Doesn't mean the checks are a bad idea, but it does appear that those things are connected.
Well, the fact that people wanted to take their extra money and buy guns is like, I mean, why not some shoes or handbags or, but instead these women are running out there and buying guns. I mean, that should speak to how people are feeling about our country and our future, and that is very unsettling. But Ryan, look forward to your radar next.